Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. We're going to be talking about transit Chiron conjunct one's natal moon. Now, when you have transits that involve Chiron, they can manifest in physical and emotional wounds, helping, healing. There may be issues with self-esteem, self-worth, how you feel about yourself, suffering, sense of ineptitude. So when you have transit Chiron conjunct your natal moon, well, it may be expressed in physical and emotional wounds, suffering, healing, and helping. It could be matters with the soul in some cases. It can be, I mean, if it's in Gemini, it could be a very vivacious one and animated soul, perhaps, but yet somewhat mercurial one. It might be maybe there's there might be some suffering due to lack of persistence, but given that Gemini is not exactly known for that, but it might. And the thing about it is the moon is also connected with our emotional needs. So it might be more of a need for people at this time to do something that is very helpful to others. That could be healing others. You know, Pisces, it could be, as an example, it could be through some kind of meditation or something with spirituality. The moon is also associated with the subconscious and unconscious. So it can have some connection to when you are sleeping, and it could be where there might be some difficulty with this at this time, or if it's in Gemini, going back to zodiac sign Gemini, there might be restlessness with this. As an example, Aquarius could be very erratic and sporadic sleeping patterns, or there might be some suffering on an unconscious or subconscious level that you might not quite really be cognizant of, but it might be affecting you and impacting you in various areas in your life. Say if it's in the sixth house, it might be really strongly in your daily routine and maybe at your place of work or employment. Now, and the moon is also connected with the home and the family and people that you are close to home with. So this could be a time where you might feel more like helping these people at this time, healing uh, people that are in that that sector of your life, but you might also be going through suffering with that as well, whether it's a contentious situation with a home or family member or someone you're simply close to home to. Remember that Chiron is the wounded healer, and it's expressed in how we can help others in the same areas that we're suffering in. And the thing is, too, the moon is also associated with prominent women in one's life. Now, it could be that a prominent woman in your life scheme, whether it might be, if you're, if it could be a wife in some cases, if you're a male, or whatever, whoever it might be. It could even be the mother. It could be somebody that's a close friend that is female. Might be going through some suffering at this time. Might be going through even physical wounds in some cases. Say if it's an Aries, it could be some physical suffering with headaches or some kind of inflammation or injury to the head or the skull. But it could also be emotional suffering. The fact that you're talking about Chiron and the moon, I mean, Chiron by itself can be about emotional wounds and suffering, but then when you have it contacting the moon, well, that may exacerbate because you're getting a double whammy, really, because you're hitting this. There's an energy that's connected with emotional wounds is hitting the moon, which is about emotions. So it could be very, at times, it might be very intensified emotional suffering and turmoil, anguish one may be having to endure at this time. Now, anatomically speaking, the moon is associated with the chest, the breast, the stomach area, water retention, the left or the right eye, depending on gender. So in some cases, this could be about some physical issues that one may be enduring that are associated with one of the things that I'm describing. I mean, say if it's in Pisces, it could be some issue maybe with alcohol that might be doing something, with the issues with water retention. at this time. It could, there might be some issues with people, whether maybe somebody is drinking too many fluids or too little fluids, which might be causing issues with water retention at this time. Some cases it may even manifest in some surgical procedure involving one of the things I described that was anatomically connected with the moon, because remember, Chiron can be about literal wounds, and it can be, when you have surgery, of course, you're involving incisions. And the thing too is also the moon is associated with one's feelings. So this could be a time where there might be a greater propensity to get your feelings hurt at this time, more so than usual. If it's in Leo, it could be matters with pride and ego, or maybe being, demoralized or embarrassed over something, and it might be something that might hit home as far as what I just described. A moon, of course, is associated with our emotions. So again, reiterating what I was stating before about Chiron being connected with emotional wounds and suffering, and the moon being connected with our emotions. This could be a time for more intense emotional suffering in some cases, and it might be, again, a prominent female in your life, or a family member. It could be the mother, someone you're close to home with might be going through some more emotional pain or some issues at this time on an emotional level, more so than usual. And the moon is about our reactions and responses as well. So say if this is an Aries, it might be something where one may be paying some, repercussions through those kind of responses, acrimonious responses during this transit. And it's interesting, I believe, a renowned NBA player, LeBron James, I don't think he's having this transit by as far as conjunctions in terms of the allowed orb is for the transit. But transit Chiron, I don't think is far from his natal moon in Aries, and he had made kind of in a very outspoken, I'd say maybe acrimonious reaction on Twitter recently, and he had taken it down after he realized maybe he might be escalating a situation or something. But the thing is, though, this is time where you can pay repercussions for emotional reactions and responses, and the moon is also associated with the public, so it can be a time too where your emotional, these are emotional wounds that you may be suffering or going through at this time, or physical ones. There might maybe a greater chance of it going public. If you were trying to keep things suppressed or hidden, there may be some kind of something that might have a greater tendency. It might be more of a tendency to go public at this time, but it could also be where you might be doing something for the public in terms of helping and healing others at this time, whether it might be some innovation or device or what have you, or like a door-to-door salesman that may be going out door-to-door saying, I have this thing that could actually help you, whether it be something for physical therapy or what have you. So anyway, now another way this could manifest, it could be about the deepest wounds at this time you may be experiencing, may be connected on an unconscious or subconscious level. And going to Gemini again, for example, it could be in some cases vicariousness or a lack of persistence. It could be some kind of superficial connection with your family, people you're close to home with, prominent women in your life, even the mother in some cases. Now, on a positive end, this could also be expressed in, again, being a healer and a helper to the public, bringing something out to the public that could be associated with healing and helping. Say if it's an Aquarius in the 6th house as an example, it could be like something innovative for one's health or even for pets. Some of you may have seen on that commercial, there was some kind of robot cat scoop, something like that, or something health related. Where again, going back to the transit being in Aquarius in the 6th house as an example, something with like a vaporizer that might be very advanced, or there's something that is new, connected crafty with it, or it has some ingenuity associated with a new high-tech vaporizer that might be beneficial to one's health and might be even better in terms of clearing like nasal passages as another example. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, in some cases too, again, it can be going through some suffering, through some physical debilitation. Say if this is in Pisces as an example, it could be very obscured or blurry vision. Um, it could be, cross eye. It could be something where, there might be issues with the vision that are nebulous and unclear. Uh, could be nebulous stomach issues, because the moon can be associated with the stomach as well. Um, and also, Chiron again is connected with depleted or diminished self-esteem or self-worth. So at this time, issues with that may cause more emotional upsetment than usual and really hit home. Now, say if this is in Scorpio as an example, it can be very convoluted and intense emotions associated with that, and even very strong, powerful feelings of jealousy in some cases, and having animosity towards somebody that might be doing better than you, say if in their stature, someone's stature in life or their social status is superior to yours as an example. Now, can be going back to the mother, prominent women in one's life scheme may be going through some kind of suffering at this time. Say if it's in Virgo as an example, it might be something associated with worrying and anxiety. Um, there may be greater repercussions for emotional reactions and responses at this time, as I was stating before. Say if it's in in Aries, it can be very acrimonious outbursts, and it might be a time too where one may have a little greater propensity to help and heal others by doing something connected with the moon. It can simply be by nurturing, offering a sympathetic ear, being more receptive, being a good listener to others' problems and dilemmas. It could be something with the home, like home renovation or repair, doing something with cooking, or something culinary, doing housekeeping, being like a home caregiver to a close friend or family member, something along those lines. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.